welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and today I'm going to be doing my April wrap-up. So I usually upload these videos on Tuesdays, but I had to re-evaluate my channel and its importance on me as things are changing in my life. From now on, I'll be mainly uploading on my channel only once a week on Saturdays, which will be today, and that is because I have gotten a promotion, so I am now instead of part-time, I am now full-time, which is really good. Yay! So that means I'm going to be doing a lot more time at work and not a lot of time in front of the camera, editing and so forth, and reading as well. So I will be cutting back my video uploads to once a week. But in saying that, I also do want to start doing other things. So something I mentioned in my birthday vlog, which you can see up here somewhere, I wanted to start another channel. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll leave a link down below. I'm not going to advertise it too much on all my socials. But I do want to have it out there that I do have I will be creating a second channel, and that will be more for critique videos and stuff like that. So keep on the eye for that. I've been doing a little bit of research into something that I want to do a video on, so I am looking forward to getting or recording and getting that all done up. So yeah, and that'll be only a once a month project, only because it will take so long for me to research and I don't have the time, in all honesty, to always do once a week. So that is the plan for this channel, other endeavours, and my life in general, just in case if anyone's missing these or missing more regular content. That is just what I am doing. Anyway, so I also realised that I don't actually really talk about how I structure these videos. But I think I kind of did it in the first time I did this, but I kind of want to continue on from that explanation and give more of a full explanation as to how I structure my wrap-ups. So I didn't mind doing like haul videos. I've only done 2 or 3, I can't really remember. But oh god, they were alright, but it's just like I had to remember which books I had hauled within like a month or 2, or you know, a couple of months, because sometimes I wouldn't buy books in a month and other times I'd buy like 10 books like this month. And it was just getting to a point where it's like, when do I record the video, like how many books would be too many books and things like that. So I thought, you know, condense it into one video with my haul, my reading, and what I want to read in May. And so when I do each section, I have like haul, read, and TBR total. So my TBR total is like how many books I've got left to read on my shelf that I haven't read yet. And it is a big number of books I haven't read on my shelf yet. Yeah, but I have read, like on Goodreads, I think I've added it to it's over 100 at the moment, which is really good. Really happy about that. Yeah, so that is just a way of me keeping track of how many books I've hauled, just, you know, looking at it from a numbers perspective rather than being like, I bought too many books but I read like 5 books. Like, I don't know, I don't think of it that way. So me putting it in a video, me being like, yeah, you've hauled like 12 books but you only read 8, like, yeah, that puts in more perspective for me in a video. I don't know. But it is also very heavily influenced by Drinking by Myself and her TBR video, or not TBR, her wrap-up, where she goes through her hauls and being like, okay, well, I hauled this but I haven't read it yet, or I hauled this and I've read it. So it balances the books. And I would love to get to that point. I don't know if it's too early for me to start that, but at the same time I feel like doing this helps me not doing so many hauls as well with books. Anyway, I think I mumbled way too much. Anyway, let's start with part 1, the haul. So, if you do not know, it was my birthday this month, or last month that has gone by. One of the days in there was my birthday. And so I spoilt myself quite a lot when it came to books. So I'm going to mention this one first, just because I won't remember it if I leave it to last. And that is Memento by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. The reason I put it first is because it is an ebook and I read it online and I don't have a physical copy, so I will forget it. And I also read it this month, which is good. It was only 53 pages, it was a novella, so will have a video coming out assessing the whole Illuminate Files series as a whole, so I will have that coming out soon. Don't know when, but it will be out at some point. Yeah, I've actually really enjoyed it. It was small, so like you couldn't really connect with the characters too much, but at the same time I really enjoyed the messaging behind it, and I literally, when something happened in the book, I was like, exactly, I made that noise too, and I was just like, oh my god, and the train problem, oh my god, it was way too much. I don't understand why people were in so much turmoil over that. It was a novella, and oh my god, it really put me for a roller coaster for 53 pages. Oh my god. So let's get on to the physical books. First physical book is Every Value Break by Swanson. This is a thriller, and I read this for the Little Dead Book Club. I'll have a vlog coming out about that in like a month or two. It just depends on when live streams will be held and stuff like that. But I also read this and bought it, so which is good, and it was actually really decent. It kept me hooked, it kept me in the story. Ending was a little disappointing over, but now thinking back on it, it was like, yeah, they kind of practically told you what this was about at the beginning. Not really, but it did some way. Yeah, it was just over 300 pages, and it was still really good. It was a really good thriller. I enjoyed it. It's my first thriller I've enjoyed, so yay! So I'm looking forward to the next pick, which is They Never Learn by, is it like Lane Fargo? This was a good book. Like, I mean, if you're starting out thriller, I would say recommend. I feel like it might have been a bit more predictable, not as good for people who are really into thriller. That would be my assumption, but I'm not 100% sure. Haven't watched any live streams for this or anyone talk about this book. Next haul I got from my partner, and that is Imposters by Scott Westerfeld. So I didn't realize he was also the one that wrote The Uglies. I haven't actually read The Uglies, but I am going to be starting to read this one, which I am super excited about. It's a sci-fi. I don't really know much about it. It's about twins and something. I don't know, but I feel like it would be a cool story, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And I also got the sequel to the book, which is Shatter City, so I'm looking forward to getting to this one as well. Next books I got were One of Us Is Next and The Cousins, both by Karen and McManus. The reason I got these two, I haven't actually read the first one in this, and I haven't read a Karen and McManus book yet, is because when I got the first one, because I already own the first one, it had red sprayed edges. And anyway, I was in the bookshop and I saw these two copies, and one had black, one had blue, and I'm like, you know what, might as well get it all matching, and got the blue sprayed edges and the black sprayed edges to go with the red sprayed edges, because why not? I don't know what these are about. That one's I know about murder. This one is about family, and that kind of creeps me out. Then while I was shopping for those two books, I also got 4 more books in the Worst Witch series. They were only like $5, and I bought the first book for like $12. I was like, yeah, definitely going to be getting these for $5 each. So that was really good, really decent price for those. And yeah, so the books I got were The Worst Witch and the Wishing Star, A Bad Spell for the Worst Witch, The Worst Witch Saves the Day, and The Worst Witch at Sea. I'm saving these ones to read for Believer-thon. I have been kind of saving some of my middle grades for Believer-thon, so I'm looking forward to reading them then. Next book I got is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. I got this on my birthday, which was a really good special day. So I had like a video of me going like, yay, I got my book mail. Yeah, so this is the sequel, or the second book in the series for the Brown sisters, but you don't have to read them chronologically, but I just got the second one because I enjoyed the first one. So, and this one is about Dani Brown. I'm looking forward to reading this and I'm excited. Next I have The Hating Game by Thorne. Everyone raves on about this book and how good of a romance it is, and I'm like, okay, I want to take a bite. I'm gonna take a bite. So I'm going to, and I'm looking forward to reading this. Don't know much about it. I think enemies to lovers, so kind of keen for that, as long as the enemies to lovers portrayal doesn't end at 40 pages in. Next we have An Ember in the Ashes by Tahir. I'm going to assume that's how I pronounce it. I'm sorry, bad pronunciations. Anyway, I bought this one actually because it is the group book pick for the readathon I'm going to be participating in. Somewhat participating. Very loosely participating in. So I thought I'd pick it up and hopefully I might get to it and read it. It seems interesting. I don't know what it's about. I hear everyone go on about it, so it's good. Last but not least, we have Leave Me by Gayle Forman. So I picked this one up at a op shot. It was $3, so I thought why not, and I like Gayle Forman's writing, so I thought I would enjoy this. I don't know if I will or not. It seems interesting. It's like about a woman who is like so busy that she didn't realize she had a heart attack, and I think it makes her reassess her life and where it's gone to, and I feel like that'll be an interesting read. So yeah, that's all my books that I've hauled. Let's start the books I've read this month. So in total I read 2,444 pages, which is pretty decent. It's I think my second biggest month in terms of pages, but I also did DNF 2 big books, so that also probably explains why I didn't get many on the page count. When I DNF books, I only count the pages I've read in the total for the month, so that is why it might be a little higher or whatever, just because it's like I did actually read those pages and I'm not going to let it count for nothing. I know some people might be a little annoyed at the fact I DNF'd one of these books, but the first book I DNF is Sarah J. Maas, House of Earth and Blood. I just couldn't get into this. I read the first what's it called, the prelogue part of this, and I was bored. I was like, what is meant to be happening? What is the point of this? Why am I reading this? I thought this had some cool elements, but just felt like it was a bunch of high schoolers being like, boys. That's literally how it felt like, and I just was like so sick of it. And then when the characters dies, and I'm like, okay then. And then even then, like, because I wasn't really paying attention through the prologue, I was getting lost as to who all the characters were, and I'm like, maybe I should probably read another Sarah J. Maas book before I get into this bad boy, because everyone who has enjoyed it has also read like all her other books, like Brain of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I'm like, maybe I should read those first before I get back into this again, because I feel like it would be a story I would enjoy, but it just took so long for me to get into it that I got bored. Next that I read is A Storm of Swords number 2, Blood and Gold by George R.R. Martin. So this is the second part of the third book, and I think I gave it 4 stars. It was decent, but at the same time I think it's more 4 stars because of the nostalgia it gives me to the TV show, but at the same time I'll talk about it later a little bit on, just because yeah, I do talk about the 4th book in this series. So yeah, but other than that, it was decent, really mainly focused on the characters I was paying attention on, so that was a really good change, and I gripped a bit more to the story. At the same time, like, sometimes you just read this and it just feels like it's got these long bits in that make no sense to the actual storyline or to the plot, and it just makes it drawn out and so boring. Next book is Anne of Windy Poplars, yeah, by L.M. Montgomery. I think I only gave this 2 stars. Not that it was boring, I just kept getting so annoyed with the characters in this. It's pretty much just like outlining Anne's 3 years of being a school principal at a school, and anyway, her love Gilbert is in college practicing to become a doctor. So I thought, oh, this would be nice, we get to read like love letters and stuff like that, and it's literally just like letters from Anne to Gilbert, and we don't see anything anything from Gilbert, which is a bit annoying. And then when he's in the book, like actually physically in the book talking to Anne, I think he's only said one word, which is like the first year she goes back for Christmas and Gilbert goes back as well to Avonlea, and he literally is just chauffeuring her around, and she's having more conversations with Diana than what she is with Gilbert, which is a bit weird. And yeah, and it just felt like this whole point was like this long wait for Gilbert and Anne to be together, but it just wasn't there, and I'm sad about that. Like I barely tabbed it when I was reading it. It was, yeah, I was really frustrated with this book. I really was. I didn't care about the characters, because even then, like Anne never, like, you know, at the end of the letters was like, oh, I hope everything is going well. She literally, the way that the letters were written were pretty much, oh, Gilbert, today this happened to me, and literally just goes for a 5-page dialogue as to what happened to her that day, or talking about something that happened with this family, which didn't get mentioned in second year, but it's first year, big problem. Third year, not so much. I don't know. Apparently they were a massive family, but they only got mentioned for pretty much 1 year, which is their first year at the school. I am kind of considering DNFing the rest of the series. I am currently reading the 5th book at the moment, and I've gotten to a point where I enjoy some parts of the book and I feel like they're worth continuing on, but at the same time I know that the books don't really get any better from watching other people's opinions and stuff like that. So but I want to hold my own opinion, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the rest of Anne's life play out, even though she's kind of lost some of her Anne-ness that she has in the first book. So yeah, it's a complicated issue. My next DNF, A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin. I started reading this, and the first 2 perspectives are from people who aren't main characters, which is fine, but at the same time it just kind of lost me in the story because I wanted to hear from perspectives. Like I didn't really want to hear from a prophet pretty much, and it really lost me. And then when we got perspectives, we had Cersei, and I really hated Cersei's approach to things, so I kind of DNF'd for many reasons. I don't know if it'd be something I'd go back to just because of how dense it is, and maybe it's just something I need to take a break from before I start reading it again, because I'd already read 4 books and they're massive and they take forever to read, and I just wanted to kind of get to bigger and better things. Maybe not bigger, but better books, you know what I mean? I don't want any bigger than this because it's a chunky. Next, I read the 3rd book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, which is Everblaze by Shannon Messenger. So I enjoyed this one. It was a little bit more mystery to it and trying to figure out what was happening, what was going on. I figured out the twist pretty much straight away, which was a bit sucky because I figured that, yeah, there was someone that we knew involved in the rebel group, so it was obvious in that sense. Yeah, I'm actually really excited to see where the 4th book takes the main characters because of how this one ended. I didn't think that would happen, and now I'm like, oh my god, I want to know what is going to happen to these characters. I will have to say I did felt really uncomfortable in one scene of this book because it's about a 13 and a 15-year-old kid, and they're trying to rehash something that happened to them in the past, and it was more so portrayed like they had this longing for each other, which just felt a bit weird being for children or like young teenagers. So that was a bit weird, but even then, like sometimes when I go and look at the reviews, like, or like people have questions and they're just like, oh, I want Sophie and Fitz to be together, and I'm like, we ship Sophie and Fitz, and I'm like, I don't want to ship anyone right now, I don't care, I'm just enjoying the story. So yeah, I did give this a 4-star as well, so really excited to get on to the next one, and they're just getting bigger, these books, and I read this pretty quickly, so hopefully they're still quick reads. Last but not least, we have the 3rd book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, which is the Faceless ones. It was good. I'm scared as to what's going to happen next because my partner was talking to me about it, and he's like, yeah, like the first like 3 books are like kind of like the beginning, and then we get into like the 4th book and it's like that's when shit goes down, and I'm like, oh, okay. I feel like I wasted my time with 3 books, but at the same time you needed those 3 books in order to get to the actual issue that's going to happen. So I'm looking forward to that and reading that as well. Okay, so I need my trusty bullet journal to give me my TBR for this month because, oh my god. So if you do not know, I will link the videos in the description as well as above, but there is a readathon happening in May called May the Force Read With You. I'm pretty sure that is what it's called. I'm bad at remembering things now, apparently. Anyway, it's pretty much a readathon for Star Wars, and you kind of pick your own path and you kind of go through the levels. You're meant to read the first 5 prompts, and then once you've done those you can go on a journey after that kind of thing. You have to go through the levels and then go for a journey. But I've kind of just done it that I just kind of read the books that the prompts are, depending on what mood I am in, because I'm that type of person. So for the first prompt, I've picked a Jedi lead. Is Jedi Council a sequel or book in a series? I'm just talking about this one too. Never Seen by Shannon Messenger. It's the 4th book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities, and I'm excited to continue reading on with this book, and it's going to be a fun one, I reckon. I like guessing characters on the covers because I don't know who they are, but I'm pretty sure that's Dex and that's Biana. That is my guess. I think it is though. Next prompt is Force Sprint, a book with paranormal elements. So I picked Dark Days by Landy, which is the 4th book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series. It does have some paranormal elements with like vampires and, you know, different myths and stuff like that, particularly for like Ireland and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm interested to seeing what happens next, and it's like now that I've read the 3rd book I kind of know what the front of the book kind of is insinuating, and I'm like looking forward to it. And then probably fans who have read the books already know what happened, but whatever, I'm late, I'm getting there. Okay, next prompt is Healing, which is read a book from your favourite genre. So technically fantasy is my favourite, but I think my guilty pleasure is romance. So I've picked The Hating Game by Thorne because I want to read this. Next prompt is Knowledge, which is read a book that's been the longest on your TBR/shelf. And I've picked Law by Alexandre Bracken because it's been the longest on my TBR, because it's been on my TBR since probably February when I got the book. So yeah, I should probably read it at some point. I'm bad at that, aren't I? The next prompt and the last prompt for going through the levels of the Jedi ranking is Cleansed, read a book with a white cover, and I picked The Henna Wars by Abida Jigrida. So it doesn't look very white, I know that, but when you take this off, it is very white. So that is how I'm getting away with that one. And I also would like to read The Henna Wars because I've been meaning to read it since September of last year, because it was the group pick for the Bratz readathon that was in September. And so for the journey, the first prompt is Rebel Alliance, read a book with a rebellion, and I've picked The Imposters by Scott Westerfeld. I don't know if it has a rebellion, but it also has rebels in the back, so I'm assuming it's going to have something to do with rebellion. So yeah. And next, the next and last prompt is Resistance, a book from your least favorite genre, and that would be like thriller and dark academia, which I've picked They Never Learn by Lane Fargo. Yeah, so I haven't actually, I don't have it with me at the moment because it's in the mail, but it's gonna come here and I'm looking forward to reading it. I picked it for the Literally Dead book club, and being part of the readathon means I get an extra prompt in, which is good, and I'm looking forward to reading it because I like the first pick that I've done, so hopefully I'll enjoy the second pick as well. Their book pick is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. So I am looking forward to reading this if I get the chance to, out of all the other books I'm reading. I'm not looking forward to it. Some other books that I would like to get have read is Anne's House of Dreams by Ellen Montgomery. So I'm nearly done with this one actually. Next book I'd like to get to is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. So I picked this book actually for the Buzzwordathon pick, which is got home in the title, so home, house kind of words, so this is what I picked. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. I think it would be a quick read because it's got a lot of pictures and writing's decently sized, so it should be good to read. Looking forward to it. And lastly, another book I'd like to get to. You can't really tell on the book cover, but this is a omnibus. So it has like 8 books in here anyway, so you'll probably see it for the next couple of months, is The Forest of Silence by Emily Rodda. I'll put like a photo of what the actual cover is, but when I was a kid I'd see these all the time and they terrify me, so I never like picked up the books because I'm like, why would I want to read something that looks like a boy's book kind of thing? And even then, like, it was a terrifying cover. So my partner was finally like, you should read this. So I was like, fine, I'll read it, see if I like the series or not. And then he's like, cool, then you can read Omnibus 2 and 3, and I'm like, probably not, but we'll see. Yes, this is my long ass TBR. I'm not looking for, like, I obviously will not be getting through this list, I know that much for certain, but I'm hoping to catch up on this list in June and then do another readathon or something in July. But I know there's whatever-a-thon on in June, so I'm hoping those prompts will just be like, read what you want off your TBR kind of thing, so you can get books read. So I feel like that if that is what it is, I'll be super duper happy, so I'll just participate in that and try and get through books. But other than that, we'll see what happens. That's it for me today. I hope you did enjoy this video. Also, forgot to mention, my book of the month for April was The Faceless Ones by Derek Landy, the 3rd book. And I got that based on my core pile ratings, so, and that is my best book of the month. Give a like, comment what was your favourite book in April. I'd like to know. I might add it to my next TBR if I have the time to read it. And yeah, until next time.